So today we're going to be doing a guide and a slight showcase on SEELE, which is the newest 5-star limited banner unit here in Honkai Star Rail, and we're going to go over everything about her and everything I feel like you should know. Now before we move on, guys, I'd appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like the video, and share this around. First and foremost, SEELE is going to be a quantum 5-star unit, and if you guys see here on the right side, you can see the stats of your character. Now this speed stat right here changes if you modify it, but right now I really don't have anything that's really giving me speed. I think like one piece of gear is giving me speed. She's 115, and that actually makes her the fastest character in the game, and that's a huge thing because the faster your character is, the more turns that your character will get, right? And that's actually going to play a big part in how SEELE works. And let's go and jump into her skills so I can tell you guys more about that. Okay guys, so for SEELE here, we're gonna go over first her skill, which is gonna cost 1 skill point, and it's gonna be a 3-hit hitting ability, which is gonna be really good for breaking the enemy and depleting their toughness gauge, which is going to be really good. Now I want you guys to keep in mind, remember how I told you that she was the fastest character in the game? Well, this makes her even faster because she gives herself a speed buff that makes her even faster by 25%, which is going to be a decent amount, and that's going to help her get a lot of turns. Her skill does a good amount of damage, and it gives her speed, which is going to help her out a lot. Now keep that in mind on what I just told you guys. We're going to talk about a very important skill in SEELE's kit. Now if we go here to SEELE's talents, her talent's called Resurgence. Basically what this does is if you take out an enemy with either her basic attack, ultimate, or E, she's going to go ahead and get another turn. But when she's in this Resurgence state, she won't be able to get another Resurgence state, right guys? So that's very, very important. And I'm going to show you guys a little tip, a little trick here that kind of overrides this. But yeah, also when she's in this Resurgence state, she becomes buffed, right? So she gets a 48% buff, but this goes way higher because right now I only have a level 3. Remember, we're early game, the game just came out, just had to throw that in there real quick. So yeah, Resurgence will not trigger another Resurgence, remember that guys. So her main thing here is that she wants to basically take out enemies so she can go ahead and get those turns, right? But if you use it regularly like this, right, her skill, right now we're in Resurgence state, but I've already tried this, guys. If you use her E and then you try to use her ultimate right after, you can't actually use her ultimate while she's in the Resurgence state. You'll be forced to either use her basic attack, her Q, or her skill, right? Her ultimate won't happen till after you do that. So there's a slight trick on what you want to do with that, guys, and I'll show you that right now. But here's how that skill looks in slow-mo, and it does pretty good damage. Like I said, it's a 3-hit multi-hitting move. So let's go ahead. Now that we took 1 turn, right, we're not in the Resurgence state no more, we can go ahead and proc that. But there's a slight little tip mechanic that you guys can do to proc another Resurgence. So you can go ahead and use your E, right, on this character, and while you're hitting this character when you have your ultimate, you can go ahead and press your ultimate during the hits, right, and then that'll give you another Resurgence, guys. So let me show you how that works. So we're over here, we're gonna use our E, and then we're gonna hit him, and as soon as we hit him, we press our ultimate right away, boom, right? And now we're gonna go into the Resurgence state. And then because we're in the Resurgence state, we're gonna be able to take advantage of this 48% boost, right guys? Before, you weren't able to use your ultimate in the Resurgence state. So this is huge. So that's a big tip that I want you guys to keep in mind, so you guys can be able to take advantage of that huge damage boost, right guys? So now we're gonna go ahead and hit this character and take him out during her ultimate, and we're in the Resurgence state still, doing a bunch of damage, and boom, right guys, we hit him hard, boom, and this should trigger our Resurgence, and there's our Resurgence, guys, which is very, very nice. Now remember, it's because we're still in the Resurgence state, we're still gonna have that boost. So it's basically 2 turns of Resurgence, because normally if you use that your E, and then when you're just after, and then if you wait to use your ultimate after you use your E or your skill, you won't get that Resurgence buff. You'll just go ahead and do that your ultimate, and you won't get that huge damage buff, right? And if you have this damage buff that you get from Resurgence, which is huge actually, guys, she's gonna go ahead and do a boatload of damage, right? So that's a huge tip I can give you guys. So let's go ahead and try to take this guy out, and boom, 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 and now we took that guy out. and now she also gets another resurgence because of that, right? So you'll have the resurgence buff when you're in your ultimate, and then when you hit them and you kill them during the your ultimate, that counts as a resurgence, right? And remember guys, technically you activated that ult before the resurgence, so yeah, it doesn't really count as a resurgence, I guess. It's a little confusing or whatever, but yeah, that gave her two, as you guys saw, 2 turns, so that gave me 4 turns in total, and now we get another turn guys, and we get another resurgence because of that. So it's a little complicated, you know, but it kind of makes sense, right? If you want to use your ultimate before you kill somebody with your E, and then you get resurgence, but you're in your ultimate state. And I think the reason that happens is because you proc your ult before the resurgence, right? And then you get the resurgence buff on while you're in your ultimate, so that gives you the ability to go ahead and take out a unit. Because it counted as you didn't have the resurgence buff when you proc your ultimate, it can trigger another resurgence. So I believe that's how that works. And yeah guys, SEELE is really good, and you guys know for her basic attack is just a basic attack that does quantum damage. Now for her basic attack guys, when we get into her traces, she's gonna have 3 basic abilities guys, right? Now I unlocked this because I haven't been able to unlock the Arrow of the Blue Demon Slayer, which I will once I get Ascension 4, which is gonna be right now. I think I need just 1 more level and I'll be able to do it. Now if I did have that, I would have actually just waited and used my materials on this, because you actually need this right here, which is going to be a material just like in Genshin Impact, where you fight bosses every week and you'll be able to get their materials every week. But so it's going to be a pretty scarce resource, right? So yeah, and so I went ahead and just unlocked this one, which her first bonus ability that I unlocked. And what this does is when current HP percentage is 50% or lower, reduces the chance of being attacked by enemies, which is really good because SEELE's gonna be a glass cannon, guys. She's gonna be super squishy, so you don't want her getting targeted, especially when she's lower than 50%. And it's gonna help you out a lot. All right, but if I changed it, like I said, I would have got this first, because this bonus ability is called Lacerate, and while SEELE is in the buff state, her quantum resistance penetration increases by 20%. So the buff state is the resurgence buff, like I just went over with you guys. It's very nice, guys. That 20% penetration, quantum penetration, is going to be really good, and it's just gonna make your damage even higher. So it's pretty bonkers, guys. And then her other ability is called Rippling Waves, and like I was talking to you about her basic ability, it's only just a basic attack that does quantum damage. Well, when you add this bonus ability after using her basic attack, SEELE's next action will be advanced forward by 20%. So she'll after she does her basic attack, she'll be moved up in the turn gauge by 20%, which is a decent amount. You're not really going to want to use your basic attack on SEELE, but when you are forced to use it and you have no skill points, you can go ahead and help yourself get right back and get another turn. So that's huge, guys. So the way I would have prioritized it is get this one first, get this one second, and get this one third. But yeah, I've found out that you can actually get more than one drop on this per boss fight. I actually got 2 one time. I don't know what the drop rate on that, so I'm not really too worried on that, especially I guess since it's epic. I guess the drops aren't going to be as rare, so that's going to be really good. Now for your skills, guys, what you're going to want to prioritize is her passive, which is Resurgence, your ultimate, and your E, because those are the 3 main skills that you're going to be using. Her basic attack, not so much. You can level that up as you go throughout the game and you're getting closer to end game and stuff and building her up. Now for her relics, guys, I do have the 4-piece quantum set, which the 2-piece increases her quantum damage by 10%, and her 4-piece lets her ignore 10% defense, right? And if the target enemy has quantum weakness, it's another 10% defense shred. So defense shred is good, especially with damage dealers. It just eats away through the enemies and does good damage. Now these pieces of relics, guys, again, I'm still playing through the game since the game just came out. I don't have it fully leveled up, but you know, I don't have the best stats on it or whatever, but you know, eventually when you get to end game, you're gonna want to level these up to the max. But I'm waiting to hopefully getting to a higher rarity so I can really start enhancing these relics. So, and then we got the 2-piece set here, and for this one, it's just like the goblet in Genshin Impact. because you can actually wear 6 pieces of gear here. And these 2 pieces here in the middle, this circular thing, you can actually give it to, you want this to be quantum damage, right? Just like in Genshin Impact, so she can get a bunch of more quantum damage, because she does quantum damage. And then this has its own 2-piece set bonus. And the one I have right now is called Space Sealing Station, which is what the game gives you early on. And it increases the wearer's attack by 12%. And when this wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher, which is easily obtainable with SEELE, the wearer's attack increases by an extra 12%. So even more damage, right? But you just got to add a little bit more speed on your gear, and it shouldn't be too hard already, since SEELE has a starting speed at 115, right, guys? So it shouldn't be too hard for you to proc that. So for the body, guys, depending if your substats aren't that good, you're going to want to go with crit damage in endgame, right? But if you're suffering with crit rate, you can put the crit rate on the body. But honestly, crit damage has always been the best. It's just like in Genshin Impact. And then for the boots, guys, it actually varies. For SEELE, she's already going to be really fast, so I don't know if you're going to want to give her speed gear. You could, but you're going to want to actually give her attack percent, which is going to be the best thing you can give for the boots, right, guys, for your damage dealer. So the choice is up to you. Me personally, I'm going to make sure on her main stat, I'm going to give her attack percent. Now for this as well, it's attack percent right now, but I don't know exactly what other substat you can get for this piece of gear right here. But for sure, on the circle thing, you want to get quantum. And for her light cone, guys, I'm running the only 4-star hunt light cone that I have, which gives her some speed stats and damage stat. But if she takes a hit, she kind of loses that buff. So at each turn it resets, so it's kind of tricky, right? But you know, if you don't have any good 4-stars, right? Now if you don't have any good 4-star light cones, you can go ahead and feed them these light cone, the 3-star light cones that are pretty good. And it depends on you resetting your opponent though. So if they have an enemy and you take them out, it's really good. So this one, when the wearer defeats an enemy, increases your attack by, and it's pretty easy to superimpose these Eidolons. But if you don't have it at level superimpose 5, it's 24%. It's still good for 3 turns, right? Every time you get those resets. And then there's another one, when the wearer defeats an enemy, you can increase your speed by 10% more. So if you want to go for that speed increase, I wouldn't suggest that. I would go for the straight up attack. If you want to go for the 3-star. Now for me, that I don't have a lot of relics, guys, I have the Rivers of Flows or Spring. Basically what you want to do is give her a light cone that for the hunt that you have, if it's 4-star, that's going to boost up either her crit damage or attack. Basically, right? If it has speed, it's a plus. So yeah, that's what you're going to want to do with that. Also, I want to keep you guys in mind that just because you're fighting a boss that doesn't have extra enemies doesn't mean SEELE becomes useless as a DPS. Even though it's a big part of her kit, it's not gonna really make or break her. She actually does really well even without the resets, or the extra turn I should say, because she's going to be doing a lot of damage, and because she's the fastest character in the game, and because she's speeding herself up, she's going to be getting a lot of turns regardless, guys. So she's going to be recycling in the action bar super easily and just getting a bunch of turns because she's the fastest character in the game. And now for her Eidolons, guys, we're getting in the whale territory now. Honestly, if you have 1 copy of SEELE, you will do fine. You don't need this, but this is just for the people that are curious of what her Eidolons are, and for the people that are going to be pulling her for her Eidolons regardless. Now her first Eidolon, guys, her E1 is Extirpating Slash, which basically gives her a crit rate increase of 15% when the enemy's HP is 80% or lower. So that's pretty good, pretty simple. 15% crit rate means 15% less crit you have to worry about on your relics. Pretty nice. Then the next one is called Dancing Butterfly, and the speed stat boost effect of SEELE's skill can stack up to 2 times. So she can actually give herself that speed buff twice. So instead of 25%, it goes to 50% speed boost. Very nice, right, guys? And then we got her E3, which gives her a stat boost, and then her E4, which helps SEELE regenerate 15 energy when she defeats an enemy. So she can go ahead and get that ult and do that little trick that I showed you guys, or just ult somebody if she wants to. All right, a lot more, which is really good. Then her E5 is called Piercing Shards, which is a stat boost, and then her E6, guys, is called Shattering Shambles. And this is a kind of a mouthful and a little confusing, but it says after SEELE uses her ultimate, inflict the target target enemy with Butterfly Flurry for 1 turn. Enemies suffering from Butterfly Flurry will take additional quantum damage equal to 15% of SEELE's ultimate damage every time they are attacked. If the target enemy is defeated by Butterfly Flurry damage triggered by the other allies, attack, SEELE's talent will not be triggered. When SEELE is knocked down, the butterfly butterfly flurry inflicted on the enemies will be removed. So yeah, so when SEELE does an ultimate on someone, she's gonna go ahead and leave a debuff on them. And as long as they have this debuff on them, when your allies hit them, they're gonna go ahead and do 15% of SEELE's ultimate damage, right? So that's good because her ultimate damage is usually some fat number, and 15% of that every time your allies hit her or SEELE hits them is gonna be crazy. Now, I don't know how long the debuff is gonna be on them. Therefore, if it's a certain number of hits or a certain number of turns before that debuff comes off them, or it seems like it's going to be on them for as long as the fight goes on, but they do lose that buff when SEELE does go down, or when the enemy gets taken down, then you can go ahead and put it on someone else. Now, another thing I don't know is if you can put this on multiple enemies. If you hit one enemy, then hit another enemy, you can put it on another enemy. I don't know that because, you know, I don't have E6, unfortunately. But yeah, it's still really good overall. Maybe there is some turns on this debuff to make it more balanced. Maybe it's 1 turn for 1 turn, but even then you can overlap an enemy, and if you have someone that's manipulating their action bar and pushing and delaying the enemy's turns even more, you're getting more turns and you're just getting extra damage, right? So it's pretty crazy, right? Her E6 is really good. And yeah, don't be too pressured. Like I said, guys, if you have 1 copy of SEELE, you are perfectly fine, no worries. Now, I did forget to say that she is part of the hunt, right? Which means that she focuses on single target damage, and she does really well at it. All right, guys, but that's about it here for SEELE. Other than that, I can talk about her technique, which makes her go into stealth, and you won't be able to get seen enemies in the open world format. And when she does attack an enemy in the state, she'll start off in her Resurgence state buff, which is her passive that makes her do extra damage. That's about it though, and the animation looks pretty cool when she comes out of it and slashes, right? Beautiful animations. Love this character. Now, this character, of course, if you give her support characters like Tung Yung, she's gonna do even more damage because you buff her up, give her energy so she can reset her ultimate, or pair her up with Pella to drop their defense, right, to do even more damage. Or Bronya, if you got lucky enough to have Bronya, you can do they pair up excellent together, right? So adding that supportability with SEELE will only make her even better to do more damage and ensure her to get those resets even more, to get those Resurgence and extra turns and get that damage boost, right? So yeah, that's about it here for SEELE, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. Let me know what you guys think about SEELE down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. It's your boy Jada. I'm out. Peace.